My name is Anna Jarakis. It's nice to finally put a face to a name. Um,
Yeah.
I will be asking you some questions, and then this is my other fellow intern. Okay.
Hi, my name is Jamilet. I'm gonna be PR, so I'm just gonna basically observe things going right. Every question has been answered, so yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
We'll just get straight to it because, yeah. So your work often features bold colors and geometric patterns and strong contrasts. How did
Mhm.
this develop over time? How did this visual language develop over time?
Well, I have to start by saying that I am a 90s baby. So, I was influenced by, like that culture and all of like the bright colors and the geometric based like shapes and like ads and stuff like that. So, I would say that was like my first real introduction into like the visual style. As I got older and started to, go more towards like the academia route, I was introduced to artists like Marsden Hartley, and the colors and the line work. I was inspired by that. Andy Warhol, of course, that was one of my biggest inspirations at first. And then just like on a personal level, just working with the mural arts program, I served under Shura Walensky, and she also has like a similar style as far as like bold colors and lines and all of that like fun energy in her move and her work as well. So that's where I got most of my inspiration.
Wonderful. Um, Next question is much of your work deals with identity and empowerment. How do you navigate
Mhm.
expressing deeply personal themes while also creating a space for collective experience?
I think the main thing is just remembering that the work is coming from like my opinion. I'm not really trying to project how I feel onto anyone. I feel like I speak about topics that are important, and I like to express my views on them, especially when it comes to things as far as equality and injustice and diversity, things like that. So, just remembering that I can't control how anyone else chooses to, respond to themes or topics, or if they even choose if they even choose to engage with it in general. So I just try to make the work from my perspective, and then whoever gravitates towards it, then I focus on them.
Yeah, no, I love that. Um, what does self-love look like in your work? Not just conceptually, but visually as well.
hmm Well, I can just start by saying like making sure that first of all I look good because it's a portrait, and I don't want to, I don't want to look bad forever, So it's like just making sure I nail like the beauty and the composition itself, make that interesting. Um, and then if I feel like I love it, or if I'm moved by it, then I'll continue to add things to it that make me feel like beautiful or like peace or whatever like self-healing feeling I'm going for within the work. And then too, just making sure that the artwork itself is just beautiful, and light and digestible, because I don't really want to make work that is too hard to look at.
Yeah.
I want it to make you feel good when you see it. I want you to keep looking at it. So I pour that into it, and just for me being passionate about it in general. So
Yeah. Um, the next question is how do you use symbolism or recurring visual elements to connect past and present in your work?
well, the most obvious one is the black and white theme that is always put in like the serious pieces. I would say like my social commentary pieces usually have that. If I'm doing more like portrait work or just things that I'm just trying to make like artwork, I won't necessarily add it as like a main theme. It might be sprinkled in. But I try to use those two colors to represent like good and evil, or like, just balance yin and yang, or, you know, just the duality of life in general. So I try to keep things simple because I don't want to overdo anything because I really don't feel like you need to. Like, you know, so it's like even with just two colors, I can say a lot, you know, and those are the two main things that I put into the work. The other would be like the lines. Sometimes they're chaotic, but they all link and they can create like a circuit and a larger picture too. If you put them all together, and they change too, depending on like the order or which paintings are with, you know, the others. So it's like a big puzzle. Um, so yeah,
I love that thinking.
yeah. Mhm.
Next question is, what responsibilities, if any, do you feel artists have when engaging with social and political issues?
Uh, I guess kind of like I said before, it's up to the artists to decide, you know, what they want to speak to in their work. I know personally, it can get overwhelming, you know, at times to always be an activist and always have to speak on uh, like social issues or things that just are not fun to talk about. So it's like I don't. If people choose not to do that, I don't, you know, I don't fault them for that. At times, I also like to take breaks from it. But I just don't want people to act like it doesn't exist, you know. So that's the only thing I would say about is being aware, you know, even if you don't necessarily put it in your work, just do something to, you know,
Yeah,
kind of, yeah.
yeah, I agree. Next question is, what's a challenge you faced as an artist that changed your approach to your practice? If
Getting older, getting
oh,
older was the main one. Changing, life changing around me. Because my career itself has not really done anything besides go up. But it's like I'm changing so much that it's like I'm trying to keep up with that as well as like not be defined by what people think I'm doing because I still am experimenting as well. That's the other thing. So I would say just trying to, I guess, stay cohesive, but also not get stuck being, you know, just like a portrait artist because I also do music. So it's like, you know, I do photography, I do murals, I do all kinds of things. So I just don't want to be stuck as the person that does, you know, oil paintings or just portraits, you know.
I'm actually gonna skip a few questions. I'll go back to them, but since you
Okay.
mentioned your music, how has your background as a musician influenced your art practice? Or do you think you have a different background that, like, different artistic background that has influenced your art practice more, if that makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be definitely the music and dance too, because I started with those two first. And then I was so small, like I was so shy, you know, so I couldn't really, I couldn't do the performance the way I should have been able to for the talent I had. But it's like the visual arts allowed me to speak or move and do things in a certain way where I didn't have to really be seen. Um, so I would say like the training and the music and the dance first helped me understand like technicality and being precise and like, you know, practice and dedication and things like that. The things that you need as an artist to keep going because no one's really like, it's not a regular job. So you can't just
Yeah.
clock in and clock and get paid. So it's like you have to have a core sense of like discipline in order to stick with it. So I would say that's how it's been inspired probably most by my music. And then too, it's the like the offset to the painting for me. If I'm like too overstimulated with art, I'll go into more of like a music brain,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. No. That makes complete sense. It's very interesting to think how the two like cross over together.
Because if you look at the art too, it's still in there, the lines and stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Um. In okay. The next question is, what advice would you give to an emerging artist who would want to use their voice for something bigger than themselves, or just something?
Definitely network, and don't think that you're by yourself in your thoughts, because you may find someone that can help you, and then whatever you want to do won't be as hard. Um, because a lot of people they be like, just do it, but it's like, what do? You have to like talk to people first and foremost, and see who is thinking like you, and then see what y'all can do together, because you have to collaborate. That's the main thing. A lot of times people forget that we're not just individuals having one individual experience. Like, even though we are, it's like we're all kind of going through the same thing at different points in life. So it's like we can relate to each other. It's just, figuring out who you align with for what cause. And then I would say just apply whatever you're thinking to, some action.
Yeah. Yeah. So this next question is about a specific work, or not specifically a specific work, but in Shaded Oppression, your work often utilizes mixed media and collage. How is that presence of these materials in your work significant, and how does it contribute to the overall reception of the work? Or how do you want it to be received? Because it's not just a painting, it's a combination of things.
I guess that's where like my interests all meet, or like just me being interdisciplinary as well, because I get bored easily with just one thing. So it's like, for me personally, some of my older work is not as interesting because it's all just paintings. So it's just flat, it's all canvas. For me personally, it's just that stimulating anymore.
Yeah.
But the newer stuff is like yarn, glass, and all kinds of stuff. You never know what I'm going to slap on there, So it's like, to me, that's interesting because you get a chance to look at it and figure out, like, well, what is that? Because a lot of people don't even know that the lines are yarn. They think that it's just painted on lines. And I'm like, no, that's yarn. That's fabric. Like, it's actual textile. So, it's more than just paint. And that's when the mixed media becomes like more of a thing, because it's like, oh, wow, I thought it was just a painting. And then a lot of times too, whatever medium it's on, let's say like digitally on a phone or something, people are like, oh, I thought that was Photoshop. It translates differently depending on where it's being seen to, I think. So I would say that was probably the most long way to answer your question about why
That's okay.
I use things in the work.
Yeah. No, that definitely. I'm an artist myself, so thinking about like going to mixed media, it kind of seemed overwhelming at first. But it's definitely something I want to try because I am a painter. But yeah,
it's just basically like making sure the materials don't decompose within, like mixing them, because sometimes you can have like a bad chemical reaction, or like mold. Like, because I have moss on the Golden Boy painting, but I treated it so it won't mold. If I didn't know, because it's wood, so it's like it would have just kept growing and it would have ate through, it would have molded the painting eventually. You know what I mean? And it's just like it could have been nasty. So it's like certain things you have to just know, like if they work together. But I would say, like, once you know, you can just try anything.
Yeah. That's really cool. Next question. In your art, you often reference elements of American culture and history. Can you explain the visual process of creating work that transforms these elements beyond their original contexts, creating new meaning and interpretation?
Yeah, I think it's just like having the intent to not perpetuate the same type of energy.
Yeah.
When speaking on it, because it's like I could make a nasty painting, very violent, gruesome, triggering painting, and it's like, or I can make something that's actually nice to look at that still says the same thing. it actually gets the point across better because it's not hard to look at. So that was my approach. For me personally, if I can't sit there and enjoy it, then why would I make someone else, go through that? So that was my whole method of thinking when I approach these topics, because like I said, they are hard to deal with.
Yeah.
So me too, if I'm going to engage with it, I don't want to be depressed after. Like, I want to feel empowered as well. So I think that's where, like, you have to be intentional about what you do when you are speaking on certain things as well.
And that goes back to the empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The next question is, as an artist, is there anything you hope to try to explore? Whether it's a new medium or new themes or specific collaborations or any projects or goals. Any hopes and dreams?
Yeah, I have a lot bigger, because I have not done anything yet. Like, seriously, like, I've only done art shows.
Yeah.
And like in a few music performances. Like, what if I really do like the maximum level of what, those industries look like? That's what I want to do, because I still haven't really had funding to fuel my ideas yet. I've done all of this mostly on my own or with like micro grants. And I mean like micro, like 500, 25, you know what I mean? Like little grants. So it's like, I really want to be able to put my ideas out there and not have to worry about how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Or like have it be a smaller idea because I can't really see it all the way through. But yeah, I have, like I said, I'm interdisciplinary, so I'm going to always work in multiple mediums. I'm never going to just be, a painter or a musician, so it's going to be a lot of things I want to be doing.
Yeah. Would you ever consider like doing, I guess, like an interdisciplinary art piece, like something that involves music and painting, or like music and collage or something, or dance even too?
Yeah. Like a show or the visuals, because I also studied film. So, I want to incorporate more of the time-based media aspect of art, because you can say a lot with like just body movement and sound. You don't necessarily need words. And then it's like, to think of a painter going to the next step, it would be moving images, since I can do the 2D. It's like, let's see what 3D looks like. Or let's see what a full ensemble of like a routine looks like, or like a full orchestra, so it's like, I want to see what it looks like to be able to incorporate like the highest level of, I guess, the media practitioners, how, I don't know how we creatives, however we describe ourselves, just have us all in a space where we can like, function and thrive and see what we do.
Yeah, that would be interesting to figure out. And I think those are all the questions we have. But before we end, is there anything else you'd like to share? Like, do you have an upcoming project or exhibition, or any just like
I did put out 2 music projects on my own recently. The first one is called Moonchild 2025. Okay. And that one's a mixtape, but that one is the mixtape to a larger project. So that's just the music element of that one. But then 2 months later, I put out a fully self-produced electronic dance album called More Room for 730. And that one is based off what I was doing during the pandemic. So that was like my skill. I taught myself how to mix and master and arrange music, because, I didn't have much to do. So I started everything around 7:30 p.m. And that's why I called that album More Room for 7:30, because I was like programmed at the time to just 7:30, gotta make music. So those are the 2 things that I have out right now. And then I have a book cover that's coming out soon, eventually. And yeah, our show that's coming up.
That's true.
In September. Yeah, our opening. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's other things I'm forgetting too, but I don't know.
That's
just gotta keep watching. Yeah.
The book or the book cover and the music. That sounds exciting. Is it on like Spotify? Is that a dumb question?
Oh yeah, sorry. I put everything. I only have it on SoundCloud right now because I'm working my way up to Apple Music. But that's the thing. I have them on 2 different platforms. But if you type in Danae or you type in Summertime's Own,
okay,
I'll pop up. So
okay,
yeah, either or.
I have SoundCloud.
On SoundCloud. Yeah, or just Google it. It'll pop up either or. But yeah. Right.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's it. Do you have any other final thoughts from our conversation?
No, just thank you for taking the time out to talk to me and ask me these questions because I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for taking your time to talk to us. I really appreciate it as well.
No problem.
Yeah.